Every now and then, we catch ourselves wondering, did I lock my door? And that always leaves us with such insecurities throughout the day if we don't go back to check on it. But have you ever experienced true paranoia that you can't escape? Miranda and I have been roommates for the past 3 years, since we were freshmen. Though we have different personalities altogether, we still made it work as she was never late with her rent and has been somewhat responsible with house chores. On the plus side, we have totally different classes and I never see her around most days. Now that we're seniors and it's almost time for graduation, I'm super relieved to be moving out, cause something just isn't safe about this apartment, and I've most certainly had enough. Being a perfectionist, it unfortunately also comes with severe paranoia and ADHD. It's just so hard to sit still and do nothing. I've always had a jam-packed agenda to fill up my time with either part-time work, going to therapy, or studying. Whereas Miranda, on the other hand, fills up her time with parties, drinking, and boys. What a life she lives, and potentially a short one at that. Oh, you're curious about why I would need therapy? Well, let me fill you in on the many issues I have in life. I find myself checking up on my phone every time I hear a vibration, even when I know it's not mine. I get jump scares when there's unexpected sounds outside my window. That usually turns out to be tree branches tapping on the walls and windows. And, of course, having the tendency of needing to check my door 5 times a day to see if it's locked. Therapy was never my idea. It was in Professor Judith's chemistry class that she noticed my odd behavior and asked me to stay back after class. She had a talk with me and asked me to visit the school counselor for treatment, saying that it was free and I should take the opportunity to seek help when I can. So I did, because I thought nothing of it at the time. While I think the counselor did a great job with listening to my issues, she did prescribe me some medication to help me sleep better, considering I always wake up in the middle of the night by any slight sound or movement, especially when Miranda gets home drunk at 5 a.m. with her boy toys. The counselor also gave me a great suggestion on how to curb my paranoid behaviors, such as taking a video when I've locked up my door, so I can be at ease throughout the day. And I have to say, that has worked really great so far. Now, let's rewind a little to a month back. Right before having our finals, and I was mostly up all night studying, making sure I aced Professor Wyndham's physics class. He has always been a tough one on every student. Historically speaking, there's only ever been 20 students who's gotten a 3.8 and above for his class. So there I was in the library, studying as I always do, without realizing it's now almost morning. With the help of my alarm, I was brought back to reality, realizing I now have exactly 3 hours to get ready for the exam. So I packed up quickly and made my way home. When I got home, however, my anxiety was through the roof. I immediately pulled out my phone to check. It's right there. The video from last night. I made sure I locked up. Right in front of me, to my horror, my front door was right open. I stood there frozen, confused, and scared. As my hands were shaking, I put away my phone, took out my keys and pepper spray, in case there was somebody who broke in. Entering the hall, there wasn't any signs of a break-in. As I got further in, I heard sounds coming from my room. I opened up the door to my room and found a half-naked man standing over a motionless body on the ground. It was Miranda. He looked over at me, and before he could say anything, I ran. It was the first time I've ever run so fast in my life. And just when I thought I was far enough and safe, I heard footsteps running behind me. I kept running, and I glanced behind me. It was the same man. He was chasing me. It was a terrifying sight. But I kept running until I couldn't anymore. My legs went weak and I fell to the ground. He eventually caught up to me, and I thought that was it. This is how I die.
I got you now, you thief.
I don't want to die, don't kill me.
What? I'm not here to kill you, I'm here to bring you to the cops.
What? Aren't you chasing me to try to kill me?
What the hell are you talking about? I chased you because you ran.
I ran because you killed Miranda.
Now who the hell is Miranda?
Oh my god, you don't even know her name. You murderer.
Look, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but you better return whatever it is you stole.
What? That was my apartment, you freak.
What? Then why did you run?
'Cause you were in my room. You were naked and there was a body.
I'm sorry, I had no idea it was your room. Wait a minute. Who's dead? She isn't dead. She vomited on me and passed out drunk. I had to bring her home, but I didn't know which room was hers.
Now knowing he wasn't a threat, I calmed down. He held his hand out to help me up from the ground, and I noticed the time on his watch, realizing I only had 1 hour left before my exam starts. I couldn't afford to miss this exam, so I told him I won't be heading back and counted on him to lock up the apartment after taking care of Miranda. It was the most running I've ever done in a day. I was able to make it to the exam on time and sure as hell glad no murder took place in my room. By the time I got home, the door was locked again and there wasn't a soul in sight in the apartment. Heading inside, nothing was out of place. Miranda wasn't home as usual, and I never did catch the guy's name, but he did a good job in cleaning up the mess in my room. None of my items were missing, so I moved on. A few days later, an unknown number called me on my cell. It turned out to be Miranda's mom. We've met before when Miranda moved in, but I haven't really talked to her since. It turns out her mom had been calling everyone, asking about Miranda's whereabouts, because Miranda never showed up to her sister's birthday party through the weekend. I had no clue regarding where she was or even the party. We don't usually tell each other what our plans are, or even if either of us going to be home. Opening up the messenger, looking at our history, we've only ever talked about apartment issues and when rent is due. It got me thinking, when was the last time I seen Miranda? Suddenly I realized, the half-naked man in my room. That was the last time I seen Miranda. And oh my god, was she really passed out? Perhaps, could it be that he lied and maybe she was dead? Remembering that he said she was passed out and he was bringing her home. If that was true, how did he know where she lived? How did he get the address? I then realized how stupid I was for trusting him and not getting his details. Concerned, I went straight to campus police to inform them that Miranda might be missing and she might be dead. But due to the lack of proof, they didn't take me very seriously. Instead said she's probably out partying and lost track of time. Knowing I was going nowhere with them, I left to go home to look in the apartment for possible clues of her whereabouts. It was getting dark and I started to feel a sense of insecurity. What if he's waiting for me in the apartment? Why was he in my room? What if he wasn't there for Miranda, but for me? My mind started to wander with all sorts of possibilities. My paranoia was kicking back in. I got back home to find the door still locked. I got in. I triple checked that my door was now for sure locked. Checking Miranda's room, she wasn't in, and there really wasn't any clues to her missing either. I left a couple of messages for her asking if she was okay, and decided to wait for her to reply. It got late, and I was finding it very difficult to sleep. This isn't good. I need to rest. I've got the 10 a.m. shift tomorrow, and I really can't afford to be late. So I took some of the sleeping pills that was prescribed to me, and decided to knock out for the night. I woke up with the sound of my phone ringing. I picked it up to check. 11 missed calls, unknown number. Who could it be calling me at this time of night? It's 4:12 a.m. I suddenly felt thirsty and decided to head to the kitchen for a drink. The moment I left my room, I was terrified to see the front door was wide open.